Welcome to Game Club, the podcast that's like a book club but for video games. I'm Dan, the Rainbow Six of alien hunters.
I'm Catherine, the ineffective commander who has responsibility thrust upon her.
And I'm Charles, slayer of rookies.
Welcome to the real episode 15. This week we played XCOM Enemy Unknown. And this week, Catherine returns from her Whirlwind Vengeance tour after Yakuza killed her cat. She went on a slaying rampage through Queensland. How was that, Catherine?
It was great. I seriously would, if someone hurt my cat, I would go insane though.
Are the Yakuza in Queensland? I feel like the plot hasn't been thought through.
Yeah, you know what? The thing is, they are in Queensland because it's the last place you'd expect them.
You're not wrong.
Charles and I already discussed our Nerd Week and our news. It was actually really exciting and liberating to discuss it without you.
No, it wasn't as interesting without me. Let's not lie. As discussed, called the main female character in this year or something, whatever the compliment on Twitter was.
Yeah. Now, we did get a bit of feedback saying that you're the best part of the show, which I question the validity of that tweet user. So if we get some more tweets about that, that'd be great. Although we did
Charles, I'm happy.
We did toss up whether we even wanted to know about your Nerd Week or news, but if you can give us a little bit of an overview before we deep dive into XCOM, I'd love to hear it.
So Charles and I just went into a Bladerunner.
2049.
Yep, 2049. No spoilers, but as an impression, I loved it. I thought it was excellent, and that speaking as someone that has seen the original Blade Runner maybe 20 times, and I count that and the book as some of my all-time favorites. So, pretty. I was very, very nervous about it, but I thought it really lived up to expectations sequel-wise, and I thought Gosling was great. Had a few little problems with it, which I won't go into, but overall, excellent film. I think, more people should go out and see it.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I just don't know about Harrison Ford. Is he too old to be making movies still?
I just love it. He kind of just turns up places and is like, I'm going to take my check, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like he's just sort of going through the glory days of like his biggest roles, and now he's coming back like when they're sort of rebooting the franchise, and he's now the grizzled old guy from the first film. Yeah. I feel like they're going to do an Indiana Jones of that now.
Well, they've done it. They did that.
Yeah, they already did it.
Crystal Skull. I mean,
it was terrible.
I was saying to Charles, like he, in every single one of the films he's been in, where he was in it in his prime in like his 30s and 40s, and now he's been in it again, he's been the dad. Every single one. And like, because that's the role that makes sense for you to be there when you're 70 something. Like,
yeah. And also because, especially in films, you want the main character to usually have some kind of lineage to the old main character we loved. And so it's always like, it's not just, hey, here's this new up-and-comer. Everyone sort of looks for threads of, are they related to them or whatever. Yeah. And it's a lot easier if you just go, yes, the last protagonist is their father or something.
Yeah, definitely.
But you want to know what my favorite part of Blade Runner was, Dan?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So my favorite part was these punks who were rustling something like, I don't know, 3 or 4 rows in front of us. And I can only assume, just like that.
It's a direct reenactment.
I can only assume they brought an empty garbage bag into the cinema and wildly flapping it everywhere. So Catherine turns to me, and this is after like 5 minutes of just her passive-aggressiving all over the place. She turns to me and goes, is it okay if I go and tell them to stop rustling? And I'm like, yes, Catherine, we all want to see this. So she gets up and like crouches a bit. I don't know how that's helping.
I don't want to get in the way of people.
There was no one behind us. And she goes and she's like, you're being very noisy. Would you please be quiet? And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was my favorite part.
Were they tiny children? Were they adults?
No, they were teens.
Teens.
It was
no
actually
mercy.
Absolutely
no
person.
mercy.
It was not.
They were rustling their wheelchair brakes, and Catherine got really angry at them.
Everyone is always mad at the person that goes and tells people off, right? But they're secretly also happy because someone wants to, and everyone just sits there. And it's like when people don't organize themselves into a queue. There's always someone that has to do it and be that person, and that person is me.
I've never heard of anyone being upset at someone telling someone else to be quiet if there's a legitimate noise threat.
Yeah, everyone was totally okay with it.
Yeah.
There may have been a smattering of applause. Either way, that's what made Blade Runner 20.
I'm pretty sure, from what I heard, I think it made the news because Ryan Gosling stepped out of the movie.
Over the screen and had sex with me,
did one of these,
I mean, that's the dream.
Clapping
He's a very
while,
attractive man.
clapping while having sex.
So that was our recent Nerd Week. And then the other more shameful part of my Nerd Week, which you guys all know about, is that I'm back on the Everwing wagon.
So I'd never heard of Everwing. I don't know what Everwing is. I still don't know what it is. But what I do know is that Catherine sends me group messages with like invites to play it, which is actually the worst thing you can do on Facebook.
Yeah.
Social media.
It is.
It's
and
it's
I
like
got
shitting in someone's face.
Yeah.
A free dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Shit in my face any day.
So Everwing's fascinating. So I don't understand how they make money. And I actually did a little bit of research about it because I was so curious. So it feels like a free-to-play game. Like there's two different types of currency. There's gold and there's trophies. You level things up. You collect dragons. You desperately hope to get like the same zodiac sign on your dragons because there's 10% extra damage.
Of course.
Blah, blah, blah. Like all the classic things that you were really, really used to doing on a classic free-to-play mobile game. And there's no way to pay money. And there was a stage when I actively became angry at the game because it would not let me pay money. So it's through Facebook Messenger. So it's one of those games that's all through the group stuff. It means it has a lot more focus on playing with your friends and beating your friends' scores and all of that kind of things. But it's not linked through an app store. It's not done through Google Play. It's not done through the Apple App Store, any of that. So I know some users, after going on the Reddit, I'm gone deep. After going on the Reddit forums, some users can watch videos. I think it looks like it's about 20% of users they've rolled it out to. So that makes sense to me. I'm like, okay, cool. So you are getting a lot of people watching ads, and those ads would make you money.
Yeah.
But other than that, so the Facebook Messenger, I think the estimate was over like 200 million users of games. So people that have ever had Messenger and clicked like, okay, yeah, I'll play that game. Everwing has 14 million players. There's this huge, not underground, but it's this new way of playing games that you don't have to install an app. It's all there in your Messenger app. The friction in terms of like installing an app, paying for it, doing all of that stuff is very low. But I don't even know where they're operating out of. Like, does Facebook just subsidize them because they want active games in their Messenger app? Like, I just have no idea how they're making money, and I find it fascinating because I would have spent happily about $50. I would have not, and for how many hours I've put in, I would consider that a good trade.
I would definitely not call it an underground app, seeing as one of its main things of how do you get some of your currency is sending messages to your friends with pictures of your score and your dragons.
Which wasn't great, I might add. What was your score, like 7, Catherine? I don't know what that means, but I know it's not high.
No, so I'm the second highest ranked. Zach has beaten me by 8. We are on 4,500. It is deep. Like Are you going to beat him? I threw my phone away when I didn't beat him last night, so it's fine. It's fine. The thing is, it is a really solidly made game. I'm just fascinated by it in that it feels like a free to play, but it has all of the same currency stuff. And honestly, if 3 months from now they move to a paid model, it would all make a lot more sense to me. But at the moment, I just do not get how they are putting out a game that, to be honest, is really fun and playable without letting me pay money for it. Everwing developers, if you're listening, let me pay money for your game.
As someone who has pumped hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into Facebook ads as part of their day-to-day, I would say that, Facebook's probably doing some kind of subsidizing there because they really want people just keeping their app open. Yeah. They also split, if you remember, they split their Facebook app and the Messenger app.
Yeah, I think this is part of the reason why these games, to have it so separate.
Yeah, and Facebook wants to keep you in their ecosystem as long as possible. Similarly with YouTube, YouTube promotes videos that people open the YouTube app to watch, not necessarily just watch, but open the app to watch this video because it's the one that brings them in. And so this game, Facebook would actively promote this kind of game or even help this kind of game if it's so addictive that it keeps you opening your Messenger app and keeps you in Facebook. I wouldn't be surprised. And as you said, they might move to some kind of
ads make sense to me.
Microtransaction or ads,
dragons.
Yeah. I feel like ads though isn't that big an income for an app though.
They can be pretty big. Like I know through the breakdown stuff, like it's ads aren't, especially if they're a click through where you can buy another game. Sure. They're definitely a huge, because that's how a lot of the free to play, like the little banner ads down the bottom. That can be a huge part of an app's general money.
Yeah, Facebook's conversion pixel technology is pretty insane. Like it can track you around for a week or more. And if you make a purchase in that 7-day window, for example, like you can target someone who's ready to buy straight away. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so
But
that's
if I could
honestly been my main
recommend-
gaming.
If I could request just on the podcast in front of all of our hundreds of witnesses, if you could just stop sending me those fucking invites.
Yeah, you know what? I can't make that promise, Dan.
I'm going to try it. I think I'm going to try it.
You can play some Everwing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play some Everwing, and I'm going to send down some invites. That's kind of my main motivation, is to send down invites.
Spite fights.
And it's fairies.
spite fights.
Look,
I
it's
love it.
fairies. You get to collect dragons and coins, and you get to beat your friends. It's. I mean, I don't know why I'm pushing Everwing so hard. They're not paying me money, but I love it.
Maybe they are.
Thing is, I'd quit Everwing, and then they invited me to it, and I was like, "Oh, Everwing," and I'm an addict. It's fine.
We've got some live news, Dan.
Ooh.
Live exciting
live.
news. Emma has just beat the second castle on Super Mario on a SNES Mini Classic.
That's very exciting.
Mm-hmm. She's in the other room playing it right now, listening, getting a free little listen of our podcast live, and beating Mario. So
Good
So,
for her.
because we talked about
Actual
this,
gaming happening as we speak. Yeah.
we talked about this last week. She was playing sort of Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario World. Super Mario World won out as the sort of winner in her books at the moment.
looks like it's the favorite. Yeah,
Yeah.
can't
Is
go
it
past Mario.
Is it because you didn't tell her about how Mario treats Yoshi?
No, I did. I think I told her about the punching, and she looked past it, as people do.
I mean, it's like the Weinstein scandal. People look past abuse.
It is. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, I'm a murder.
The two are equal.
Yeah, you Hollywood types.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. It's everywhere.
Yeah, no one needs that.
All right, well, let's dive into the Game Club Game of the Week, shall we? Seems
Let's do it.
everyone's
Dun, dun,
been
dun.
super patient in waiting for us to discuss
For the best
this game
part of
that
the
we played.
podcast to come back, it's fine. You can just say it.
That's right. Well, I'm glad there's no more Yakuza. So, XCOM, released in 2012, XCOM Enemy Unknown, actually, as a turn-based tactical game developed by Firaxis Games and published by 2K. It's a reimagined remake of the 1994 cult classic UFO Enemy Unknown and the sort of XCOM series that was around then. Set in the near future at the time, which was, I looked up, 2015, so we're on track to have already had an alien
My world
invasion.
looks like that.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't need.
Yeah.
You haven't, Daniel. Maybe we've just been lied to.
Shit.
Yeah.
So there's an alien invasion that starts off the game, and you're put in charge of an elite multinational paramilitary organization called XCOM that's tasked with defending Earth. Between missions, you get to build your base, research things, create items and gear, maybe recruit new soldiers, level them up. And then the main part of the game is you send down a squad, and they have different abilities, and they have to sort of tackle the threat that's in the area. And if you lose one of them, they die, they're gone forever.
It hurts.
It does hurt. But while you're down there, you want them to kill and or capture enemies so you can sort of do more research and unlock more things. And the game sort of continues as you're juggling these threat levels around the world. And Australia actually gets a scene in this one. Anytime an Australian mission came up, I would go there first.
Correct. Good patriotism.
That's right. How did you guys find? Do you guys have anything to add to that sort of overview of?
No, I think that's pretty spot on. I mean, I think, out of the alien stuff, the most unrealistic was all the countries working together.
Yeah, we would turn on each other so fast.
I would be out for myself. Let alone other Australians, but definitely out for
I
myself.
would try and ally with the aliens against North Korea.
Yeah, it had this sort of weird mechanic where each of the countries is giving you a bit of funding, but if you build a satellite and launch a satellite to help sort of cover their part of the world, which is not really how satellites work, they would send you more, they would give you more funding if you hit a certain sort of level. I didn't get to this stage, but apparently if you let the threat level get too high, they pull out of this United Nations adjacent
Japan did that
organization.
To me. Japan was not happy with me.
Why did you not help Japan? Why
We
didn't
can
you
say it, Daniel. We
Busy.
can say.
Just busy. Daniel.
racism?
A lot of I lost about a troop per mission. I was not a natural ace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Your poor
Japan
people.
wanted help, and I was like, I've only got rookies to send you. Everyone else is injured. Japan, or at least every mission, 4 or 5 of them would be severely wounded.
Oh my goodness. You're an animal.
I'm not a patient player.
One of the
Yeah,
fun
we
things.
discussed this.
Yeah, one of the fun things about this game is your different troops. You can rename them, change their look,
That was a great
customize
part.
them. And anyone who's been following the Facebook group, I sort of renamed all of my soldiers after listeners and people who've written into the show.
And how many kills did Charles Soldier get compared to Captain Soldier? Tell us, Dan.
So Charles Cash Destiny, went on 10 missions, became
and
a major.
does porn in his spare time.
He's a big porn mustache. He got 26 confirmed kills.
It's pretty good.
Catherine Mad Dog Hyphen.
That's right nickname though.
Yeah, it is a good nickname.
Made it to captain rank, went on 10 missions and got 11 kills.
Not as good. I tell people how to kill. I don't have to kill myself.
Or mad dogging.
Yeah.
Charles had skills such as like extra conditioning, tactical senses, and so on. Catherine was all about close and personal, rapid fire, run and gun, and just sort of running into the fray.
Sounds like me.
That shotgun.
Got injured a lot.
I assume, and what's weird about this game is you get obviously your rookies, and you touched on it briefly, like rookies are sort of the lowest rank. It's very easy to lose them.
So easy.
But then once they become a squaddie, that's when they get assigned their role. So you've got your assault, support, sniper, and heavy. And I put you both, because you both came into my team, or these two characters came into my team. I named them Catherine and Charles, but they were both rookies. So they were like fresh out of the academy together, friends off the, ship or whatever. And then you both got...
What ship?
Is it a naval paramilitary organization, Dan? I don't think it is.
It's underground. I don't know. You both got. I was like, maybe just like on the podcast, they'll have different strengths and they'll be able to help each other in different ways. And you both became assault.
We just wanted to compete.
A bitter rivalry for the rest of the game.
This is all reminding me of was it Sims where Emma made all of us and then saw what we did according to what she thought our personalities were like?
Yeah, so
that is an illness.
I think she made a big house with all of us, and at one point I think our good friend Liam was walking around with no clothes, just in his underwear, like dragging a guitar behind him and walking around to people sort of playing the guitar. Like, that's spot on. I love that guy.
It reminded me a little bit of The Sims in that aspect. Like, you really could customize a lot, but The Sims where you got to shoot aliens in the head, pretty much.
Yeah, and also where death was a sort of ever-present threat.
Sims, I killed a lot of Sims. So.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the tension between keeping your soldiers alive and accomplishing things.
Yeah,
because I hate losing people in these kind of games. I like to keep everyone alive, and I get really attached to them. So for me to lose, even a squaddie, was devastating. But at the same time, you want to get those extra technologies, you want to achieve those extra things. So, and you're lazy, so you want the missions to be over quickly. Yeah. So you run them in, you're like, she'll be right.
I mean, for me, I the first time I played, I did not have autosave on, and then the game crashed 3 hours in, and it hurt. Ooh. It hurt a lot. Like, that hurt more than losing me, and I was just like, motherfucker.
I'd be done.
Yeah. So for those of you just listening, I'll sort of describe how it looks. For those of you who watch the Game Club on YouTube, you can see footage of it. But each unit of yours has 2 action pips, or 2 action points essentially, and one of them can be move, or 2 of them can be move. And one of those action points can be used to shoot or overwatch, or there's other abilities you can unlock. So early on in the missions, it's very common that you'll move them forward, and if you're impatient, you might dash them forward, which means using both action pips to move. The problem with that is when you get them to their location, that then might reveal some of the map, and you might see that there are aliens there waiting for you, and you just run into the center of them, and now you're out of action points. You can't shoot any of them. You can't reposition, and there's no take backsies. Like, you can't take back your movement after you've done it.
So I dashed every turn.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah,
it did not even occur to me that I wouldn't.
See, a lot of missions, I would sort of leapfrog them up, like send them up into cover.
Right. Cover.
Overwatch.
No,
Overwatch.
Cover. I saw Overwatch and was like, seems like a sissy's way to play.
I probably didn't use Overwatch. I mean, maybe if I'm a loser,
but
I'd use Overwatch.
I mean, I could see the appeal of Overwatch. I think I didn't realize that it was reactive. So if you were in Overwatch, then you got a free shot if someone came within. That makes more sense. But yeah, I literally use the 2 movement turns every time, because like the slow and careful all running forward together, I'm like, but I want to see where the aliens are. And that's why I lost a lot of people.
Yeah, I used Overwatch a lot, and it is a lifesaver, especially once you unlock some skills like on your sniper. That's using Overwatch, you get 2. You can do 2 shots or something, right? Like you can. It doesn't trigger just on your first one. was really quite useful, especially if you'd put one on Overwatch and then you'd send someone in to flush them out, and they'd all run, and your Overwatch people would sort of mow them down as soon as they move out of cover.
All this sounds like a much slower game than I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in, out, killing aliens, and as a result, I lost a lot of people. And there was a stage when everyone except 2 were rookies.
That's why Japan just didn't get it. Didn't get the help they needed.
Japan was not a fan of my team.
Not a fan of your Zap Brannigan style of combat.
Of play.
Well, I did, and to be fair about Impatience, this game has some sort of things holding it back. While I certainly enjoyed it, you can't skip certain animations, you can't speed up turns and things like that, the sort of movement animations. So it can drag on a little bit in some of those battles, especially when you know that there's only one enemy left or there's probably only one enemy left. You have to sort of make your way to them. I can totally understand why Catherine ran in like a mad dog.
It sounds like classic mad dog behavior, really. I was so impressed with how polished it was. So this is like one of the great things about Game Club is that this is a game that is completely out of my wheelhouse. I'd seen friends that had played it and thought, that looks like a game, but this is not one that appeals to me whatsoever. And I actually, I was surprised in that I got that little, when you get the bug for a game, like you turn it off and then the next day you wake up and you're like, maybe I'll just play a few hours of XCOM. Like even though it absolutely wasn't my kind of game, it wasn't a game I would ever have, bought on Steam off my own bat, I found myself playing more than I needed to for the podcast, let's put it that way, in terms of like I did really enjoy it. It was really satisfying to do the missions. And yeah, for a game from 2012, it looks good. Like I think what the game does really well is that it really has that one more action or one more turn mentality. Like whether you're in combat, one more move might reveal something or get you in a different situation. And then, of course, the base building aspects, one more little upgrade will open up different things, one more mission, one more satellite scan. It really gives you a new situation and a new challenge every little action you take. And I think that's what it does really well. And that's what draws you in. Yeah. It gives you the bug, as you've said. And every mission's a new little, and like I was reading, there was some hint that was like, send your rookies out on like the small UFOs going down versus the big ones that are harder missions. And it was just, okay, so I guess over time I'd begin to get that sense, because as it was, I would just send out any soldiers on any mission. But like, okay, this is an easy one, so I level up some guys here versus a harder one where I should maybe only send out experienced soldiers. I could absolutely see how all of those, I guess, pathways as I get better and better at the game would have developed. I guess it's just kind of, it's not the kind of game where normally I would put that time into it, because military games aren't hugely a thing for me.
I was doing a lot of that, if not sending all my rookies, like I'd have one person who's pretty well ranked, and then they'd sort of be overlooking a couple of rookies. They sort of be out. It'd almost be like a training mission kind of thing, because you'd want to level them up, because it's all well and good to have, say, 6 soldiers who are all max rank, but if they're all injured from one mission, your next mission might come soon enough that they're not recovered yet, and you get into a all rookie squad scenario. Which often happened. I want to get Catherine's take on the base building, because you're a big fan of Fallout Shelter and things like that.
I am. Look, I liked it. I found it a little bit too restrictive in the sense of like there was like the core stuff that you couldn't move, like your command center, the whatever the UN equivalent kind of base thing was, and then the stuff that you could kind of build, it was kind of related but kind of not. Like, I don't know, if I can build a base, I want to be able to literally go like, I can put everything, like I can put engineering here. I can put, like it's, as it was, there was the little base building aspect that, you could access through engineering, and you could go, oh, cool, I can set up my power center in this. And there was little hints of it. But like, if I can do it a bit, I want to be able to do it for every aspect, I guess.
Yeah, it does hamstring you. It does hamstring you a bit when it says, oh, okay, these buildings work better adjacent to each other. So you're like, oh, I guess, well, if I build one, I have to build all of them there.
Adjacent,
Yeah.
I mean, I felt my OCD kicking in where I was like, well, okay, well, clearly all the power things are going to go on this level then. Like, yeah.
I would almost like to see another game which is just XCOM base building. And all you do is build bases with a lot more freedom.
Shelter.
Yeah, that's what I want. But I mean, instead of surviving, you're hunting aliens. through your excellent base building skills.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wanted like the Football Manager version of this, or maybe the Total War version of this, where you build the base and you build the team and you build the squad, but you send them out, and those either you just watch the battle or you the battle sort of auto resolves like in Total War. So you're doing the best you can to sort of put the best people in there, but ultimately once they go out in the field, there's very little you can do apart from maybe give them some commands or something that they may or may not follow. It's not your direct tactics that's winning the day. It is your management level. That'd be a completely different game, of course, because this is a tactical cover-based shooting game. Yeah.
It reminds me of there was a giant Twitter argument a while ago. It was kind of around or Gamergate-y time, like a little bit after. So, like, everyone that was a dickhead was out on the internet, and it was a female games developer that came out and said that she thought you should be able to have like basically like a version of, I think it was BioShock, where you could play through without having to shoot any enemies, or play through without having to play it as a video game and just have it as a narrative experience. And, basically she got attacked online just relentlessly. And it was just this thing of like, well, no, if we're arguing that games are art and that narratives in games can be really important, it's like if I wanted to experience more of XCOM, I have to get and work my way through the story. I have to start playing quite hard levels. I might just want to see the bits that are the narrative bits. Like I might not want to sink, 40 hours into getting the best possible squad up. And what you're describing sounds almost a little bit like that. Like, I'll do some base building, but you know what? The fighting stuff, as long as I've hit a certain minimum, that can just happen automatically.
Like much like taking a shot in XCOM, where it tells you sort of based on cover and all those kind of things, like 70% chance to hit. Could you have a version where it's 80% chance to succeed with this team setup or something?
It's a different game, but I just think it's an interesting question because I quite liked, the storyline was pretty basic, but I was having fun with it, and I kind of progressed. I have no idea how far I progressed, but I got to see little hints of character and stuff. But it's like the chances of me getting good enough to get to the end, like I could do it. It wasn't that hard of a game for me in terms of outside of my gaming wheelhouse, but like God, the amount of time for honestly what is just a bit of story, like I'd almost rather go to YouTube and watch the cutscenes.
Yeah, I feel that this game has a pretty robust difficulty setting choice though. Did you end up playing it just on normal? Or?
I think I either played easy or normal. I think I might have started on easy, and then when it crashed I went to normal because easy did feel a bit easy.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, as we've kind of established, I'm not the most patient person, so the game was harder.
Yeah. Also, like one extra click to get to easy. No, fuck that. Takes too long.
But it's like, that game To the Moon that we played. Like that's a classic one where it looks like a Japanese RPG, and except for those tiny little mini games, it was all story. And I don't know, I think games have moved beyond having to be things that require you to do what we think of classic gaming. It can just be stuff where you move around the map and that's still a game.
Yeah, I feel with say watching the cutscenes and stuff, like then you're watching a movie though. You're not playing a game.
Or even watching it Let's Play. Like there have been, when Josh was playing through Stardew Valley, I felt like I'd played that game. I had just sat and watched him play. Like I'd be reading and he'd be playing along in the background. It's like, well, in every way that matters, I've played the game in a lot of ways. Like I don't feel like I could play that now without feeling like I'd done it before in a strange way.
I think we're going to see a lot more of these with VR becoming bigger. We're going to see more story experiences that you interact with through VR that are less games and more story. But we'll call them games because we have no other meaning for it. Or interactive movies. I don't know.
Interactive narrative is one of the hot terms at the moment.
Yeah, but it's way too cumbersome to say.
Well, it's effectively it's choose your own adventure VR style in terms of no one says that those books are games. They're just books where you can choose your own adventure. And I think VR will get to a similar point in terms of they're not games, but you can still have interactability in it.
Then they can re-release the Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventures as VR
they totally would.
And the Animorphs Choose Your Own Adventures as VR experiences. I'm on board.
You're pumped, yeah. I loved the art in this, though. I thought it was really great. The aliens were fun. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of the different the sort of different alien designs? Because you got your typical greys, and then you sort of skinny, sneaky ones that
Thin Man, yeah.
Thin Man. Was it you that said, Catherine, that it's very Buffy-esque? Those ones.
Yeah, there's a Buffy episode called Hush that has kind of these long skeletal. They're kind of modelled off plague doctors in 19th century England, I think, but long skeletal guys in suits with kind of quite long hands and legs, and they looked very similar.
Yeah,
in a really cool way. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of the greys.
Too standard?
Yeah, too standard, too UFO. But I guess that's the point. I mean, that's what they're doing on purpose. But it wasn't for me. The aliens didn't inspire me. I didn't want to hunt them. I felt a little bad.
Hunt them? I heard something else. I was like, you didn't want to hunt them.
I did want to do that.
Hey, don't yuck his yum. If that's how he wants to enjoy his interactive narrative experience.
I won't kink shame. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I didn't want to kill them. I wanted to do other things. So
it was interesting, and they sort of touch on it right at the end of the story. So I'm not sure if you want me to get into spoiler territory.
We'll never get to that.
We'll never get there, Dan. Hit us.
So in the last, and this is a spoiler warning for anyone listening at home who hasn't played to this game and doesn't want to hear it. In the last sort of mission of the game, in the last couple of missions, you have to work out which of your characters are psionic, and then you have to build a special psionic suit. Mine was Fatumsh, based off one of the D&D characters that James is playing, and you go onto the big mothership, Independence Day style, and you have to sort of fight through these different rooms. And at each room, you have to fight sort of the tiers of aliens as you encountered them, throughout the game. So it starts off with the Greys, and then you get the Slender Man.
That's cool.
And then it sort of builds up again, and there's a voiceover through this psionic connection, I guess, telling the character, like, these were our first experiments with, psionic energy. They have some, then it's like, the Slender Men, they do a different thing, and like the Brutes have no psionic energy, but they're useful for whatever reason. The crazy chitinous, slashy things that were annoying, they were just mindless, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to the last mission, and they're like, you are the, humans, your psionic power is greater than ours. And
the final experiment?
You're our final experiment. You're gonna be able to allow us to access the higher plane and become gods or something like that. And then you destroy them, and super duper
classic
spoilers.
Humans.
The mothership is going to create a black hole, but everyone bails except for the soldier who has the super mind training. They stay behind to pilot the ship away or whatever, and save the Earth from exploding. And but yeah, it was, I guess, like, that was how they linked them all together, because a lot of the styles of the aliens
they were
are very
pretty different.
They're all touching on different sort of alien tropes, but though from sort of different genres almost, right? You had your bug one that could just cut you open. You had your robots. You had your big brutish ones in the power armor, and you had your greys, running around.
Yeah.
And
they just wanted an excuse to have different kinds of aliens and make it make sense, really.
So what do you guys think? Because you touched on you didn't like the Greys as much. Was there a particular enemy you sort of hated to come up against, or that you really liked the style of, something like that?
All of them. I mean, as I say, like,
just the worst.
It wasn't an easy game for me. No, like, the thing is, I could see all the things where I could be more patient and then did not make that choice. I guess in general, the one thing I probably would have liked a bit more of was I felt like there was quite a high difficulty curve. And it's not that I want things made easy for me, but I like them explained. Like, I don't want it to be like, start researching this and you haven't been given any background about what that thing even does. So I felt like it kind of dropped me in the base a little bit, but I guess to a certain extent all games are that. I just really like a very clear tutorial that teaches me every bit of it. I only have to be taught it once, but I like a very clear, this is how you do this is why you do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles?
No, I didn't have any issues with them. I used really good cover-based tactics, so didn't find it too difficult.
I'm rolling my eyes. Listeners, you cannot see, but I'm rolling my eyes.
Didn't find it too difficult at all. None of them really bothered me.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good. Would you recommend this as a game? I mean, Catherine, this is well outside your genre. But would you still recommend it?
As I said, it did give me the bug that a good game that I'm enjoying gives me, which is the classic, you wake up and you're like, maybe I'll just play a bit more XCOM. So, I mean, I would say if you like tactical games, if you like turn-based games, and you like kind of military-ish type ones, it's a definite yes. I'm still considering playing more, which for me is a big recommendation. Like, I'm like, I would like to finish that storyline and finish that mission through, which, for me means even though it's very outside of my genre, I still did really enjoy it. And that said, I probably wouldn't rush out and buy XCOM 2.
Yeah, look, for me, it didn't do anything interesting in gaming, I guess, that took me to a place that I was challenged or wanted more of. So, I mean, look, for what it is, it's a polished game that gives you a bit of a thrill where you get to run and gun with some dudes against some aliens. What was it, inspirational or innovative? Not really. I'd be happy to skip it. Just a bit pricey. I got mine, from some dodgy G2A or GOG or something with a G in it website. So it was like $6. I'm like, I'm happy to pay that.
Like NFG or something crazy, untrustworthy.
Corrupt and dodgy, no doubt being, taken advantage of by credit card stealers in Russia. But, you got to do what you got to do, Dan.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Well, I'd recommend it as a fun, or at least have a look at it, see if it's your kind of game. If you like that kind of tactical shooter or tactical turn-based shooter, this is probably a fun one to jump into.
Probably the best one.
Yeah. If you're a big fan of like Shadowrun and those kind of games and the style of them, this one you really should give it a shot, especially on Iron Man mode if that's your kind of jam, as it provides a lot of, you really get invested in your characters, and especially in Iron Man mode, losing them would be tough.
What is the difference between Iron Man mode and non-Iron Man mode?
Iron Man mode saves with your autosaves, and then you can never load not your most recent save.
Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds legit.
I mean, it's like the games where it's, they want you to... I was complaining about this the other day. Games where you get an achievement for going through the complete game without dying once. I'm like, the thing is, there are people that then try and do that, and that is an illness. Like, that is not okay.
It's not a healthy way of playing games.
Like, you just know that someone's trying to go through all of Cuphead without dying once, and it's like, I'm sure they'll do it, but like, at what cost?
Yeah, there's actually I think an achievement or a mode that gets unlocked in Cuphead if you beat the game without firing a shot.
How does that even work?
Yeah, you get like a black and white mode. I'm not really sure if it's a great
How do you not fire a shot? I don't understand that.
Definitely worth it. Time to invest thousands of hours.
Yeah, and I mean, there's YouTube channels out there. I think there's a game completionist who's not just beating the game, it's like getting every single Korok seed and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is the thing. Like, I get speedruns. I guess I put speedrunners in a different category to just people that are like, achievements, I should try and get them all. And it's like, but that achievement will break you.
All right. So wrap it up there for our XCOM discussion.
There's no quiz?
Hold on. That's the next section.
Because Catherine and I are here recording in the same room. So I feel the extra level of competitiveness will come out.
It will.
And by extra level competitiveness, you mean that, Charles, you prepared the quiz this week?
Guess not.
Guess not.
Oh.
Catherine wins.
Oh, wait, I was meant to prepare a quiz. Oh.
Catherine wins by default.
I'm going to prepare a quiz.
Game Club quiz.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
We've been practicing that all day.
Yeah, all day.
Nice. In the
Mostly
cinema.
in Bladerunner,
People were hushing you in the cinema.
I was the rustler. It's actually like, that's the twist, Memento style. I was the person rustling with that.
I'm the one who rustles.
Yeah.
Okay. First question. And we're gonna trade off until one of you fails. I guess.
God, so immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess it's going to be 1 point for each correct answer.
I prefer 6 points.
Yeah, I prefer 5. We'll go with 1.
Charles, we'll start with you. what are the ranks that your soldiers can get in XCOM?
I'm going to fail this quiz.
Ooh, all right. So
we'll do one each until we're out of them.
Yep.
Okay, he's in
Squatty.
there. Is it my turn now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to think what it jumps to.
Lieutenant?
No, it doesn't jump straight to lieutenant.
You don't know.
It doesn't have to be in order, but
doesn't it? Oh, okay. Captain.
Major?
hold on.
Sergeant.
Yep.
Corporal?
Yeah, there's one more.
Ooh, does it go above major? I'm thinking
You can pass and see if Catherine will fail. But you guys are on equal scores currently.
right.
So
I'm gonna take a stab and say lieutenant colonel.
I want to guess something as well, though, before you say if it's right or wrong.
okay. What are you guessing?
Like, there was something commander. I was going to say commander. Did we say commander already?
That's a Navy term.
Charles got
Commander.
close. It is Colonel.
It's just full colonel. That's stupid. You don't jump from major straight to full colonel. I'm just putting that out there. The game's wrong.
It is Squatty, Corporal, Sergeant, Lieutenant, which I gave to Catherine as Lieutenant, Captain, Major, and Colonel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's their mistake.
Yeah.
But we're equal. So I'm basically in the military. Please
So
note that, everyone.
3 points each.
We'll take it.
In the movie Starship Troopers, what is the home planet of the arachnids? Starts with K.
I'm just going to make something up. Kressel.
Nice.
Thanks.
I'm gonna say Cryodil.
It is Clendathu.
Ooh,
We were
so
neither
close.
We were not close.
All right, going back to XCOM, we're going to do the same sort of thing again we did with squad points, but it's going to be based on the enemies. So we're going to trade off. Catherine, you get to go first this time. Give me names of the enemies in XCOM Enemy Unknown.
Brutes?
I was not paying attention to their
Yeah,
names.
well, you should have been.
Well, that's wrong.
Didn't we say brutes?
Amazing.
We called them brutes as a shorthand, but they are not
Yes.
brutes.
So I now have free reign, right? I can
We
just
don't
guess.
free reign. You get one, and then I get one.
Yeah.
Were they called greys?
No.
Thin man?
Thin Man is one. Catherine, Thin Man.
I was going to call them skinny men, so I guess I wouldn't have got that either. Did we call the brutes armored Hulk giants?
Nope. Catherine?
No.
I'm gonna first to 5, I guess.
This might be a bit high, Dan.
Well, first to 3 then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, something distracted me off my computer. I mean, they're not the greys. I dissected one.
Dissected plenty.
What was the energy one?
No, I think we're giving up, Dan.
Yeah, we didn't really. We just shot them.
Yeah, they wanted to die.
I would have
Their name was
accepted
Death.
the Sectoid, which was the greys.
No, that's not the
Thin
thing.
Man, the Outsider, which is the one made of energy, the Floater and the Heavy Floater.
That's stupid.
The float. I mean, also the floater was clearly not made by an Australian.
Isn't a floater
It's a poo.
a poo?
I remember thinking that. Damn it, I should have had that one. It's like the
should've got the
floaters,
poo.
and I'm like, we are all afraid of floaters.
The Chrysalid, and the Chrysalid can create zombies, so I would have accepted
Oh
either of those.
wait! I'm going to give you an answer right now. Humans, they're the true aliens.
True
I get an
enemy.
extra point. I get an extra point.
Nope.
Oh.
I would have also accepted Cyberdisc, Drone, Muton, Berserker, Elite, Sectopod, Ethereal, and Uber Ethereal.
Well,
And humans.
that's a lot of things.
And maybe human.
I mean, on the off chance, I could have thrown any word out and I would have been able to get it. So, joke's on me, I guess.
So looking at the scores, Catherine is on 4. Charles is on 3.
It's a high scoring game, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's high stakes.
This is like the space one where you guys thought the speed of light was days away.
I've told people about that and they think it's hilarious. Like science students.
I told Josh, and he was like 8 minutes, right? I'm like, guess how many days they get? So he's like, days?
Hey, look. Hey. All right. I'm going to name This is just going to be shouted out, and it's going to be multiple. It's essentially you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting this correct. I'm going to name a ability name, and if you can name the correct class that ability belongs to, you will get. I'm going to say 2 points.
Nice.
All right. Lightning reflexes.
Assault.
Yes, Charles.
What?
In the zone.
Sniper.
Oh, Charles again.
I'm just too slow because Charles says it. I'm like, well, he said it now.
I have. It's a race. I'd be able to say it if you said it first too. No.
At least you're in the same room, so there's no difference.
There's no delay. Nah, I think there's like
Sentinel.
Heavy.
Assault.
Neither assault nor heavy.
Captain.
What's the other one? Scout?
Oh, wait, support.
Catherine with support. I'm going to give you 1 point because you.
Yeah, good.
What?
You chose.
Wait, all the others only had 1 point, right?
No, others had 2.
Because you got it first try, gets 2 points.
What?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. Damn good ground.
Heavy.
Assault.
Nope.
Sniper.
Yeah, Charles with 1 point.
This game is rigged.
Suppression.
Heavy.
Support.
Charles with 2 points.
I'm just
I
going to
don't
keep saying
like that
heavy
this
ever
game
again.
is just. I was doing well, and then this section. Whatever.
Who can yell the fastest?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like
That's what I do. I yell quick.
And we'll do one more of these.
I've already picked my class.
Is it like rock, paper, scissors where you just throw out?
Maybe.
Killer instinct.
Assault. I said that first. I said it first.
Bullshit. It was equal. 1 point each.
No, it wasn't. I got it first. Daniel, support me.
I don't know.
The recording will show Catherine said it first.
But did she say it louder? That's the question.
That's not the question.
Yeah,
Come on, give it to me. He got a lot. I get 2. Just give me 2, Dan.
I'll let her have 1.
We'll give Catherine 1.
Yes.
All right, so final scores. Let's count them up here.
That quiz was rigged. Like it was all.
It's going to take a while to count up all my points there, Dan.
You didn't know what ranks things were.
So Catherine was on 7 in the end. Charles is on
11. Probably
10. I've got him on 10.
Nice. Hey, not too far apart. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm satisfied of my victory.
So good last minute quizzing. Thanks. Hopefully you did a lot better at home than they did. A bit hastily thrown together, but still.
Because Charles. Actually, no. Can he lose points because he didn't?
I'll give up 2 points.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go into what we sort of failed to touch on, which was: is there any games you would recommend that are either similar to this or similar to XCOM Enemy Unknown, or in that same sort of vein that you say like, play this instead, or if you like this, play this?
I'm going to recommend, because I'm playing it right now and it's much more entertaining and also 10-based, which is Total War.
Oh
Warhammer 2.
Hammer returns. Hammer your face.
Yep, the hammering 2. Because it's really good and it's 10-based and you got your little, like your overarching thing and you get your little cutscenes when your battles are, and it's great. You should play it.
Catherine?
I don't hugely have any game recommendations for this because it's so far outside of my normal kind of spectrum of games. So I could look up similar ones, but in terms of ones I've personally played, no. I will recommend Everwing.
Nice.
I'm going to recommend
recommendations from Catherine and Charles.
I'd recommend this for say Catherine as well. Mario and Rabbids Mushroom Kingdom Battles. There's essentially XCOM but with Mario and Rabbids characters.
I would play that.
And it is a much simplified version. So instead of having say 70% chance to hit, your chances to hit can only be 0, 50 or 100.
Right. Yeah.
You can still get stuff like being on higher ground does more damage, and the same kind of enemy types, like there's big guys. If you hit them, they move towards you. If they get to you, they'll hit you for a lot of damage. That's all still there, and sort of extra abilities in Overwatch as a special ability that's on a cooldown, as opposed to something that you should be using every turn, Catherine. it's a fun little game, and the humor is there. I'm having a lot of fun playing that on Switch. It's like baby's first XCOM.
We're in EB today, and I was telling Catherine how I'm morally opposed to that game. Yeah. So that's what I think of that, Dan.
That's fair. It is upsetting in that game that you have to have Mario in your team of 3, and you have to have at least one Rabbids character in your team. You can't just go, no, I'm going to have Mario, Luigi, and Peach. You have to have a Rabbids character in there. I assume it's some sort of contract deal Ubisoft had.
Almost definitely.
Yeah. So that wraps us up for this week on Game Club. I just wanted to do a bit of pay-to-win section here and spruik the fact that I'm part of a gaming marathon charity coming up next month.
Very exciting. I can't wait to see you suffer.
That's right. So I'm going to be playing games with some other friends for 24 hours straight. We're going to be streaming some of that experience, or at least providing updates, and we're raising money for MS Australia, so multiple sclerosis research. And if you head to the website, nonfictiongaming.com, the big story on the front page there is details on the charity fundraising and links on how you can donate. So if you're listening to this, I'd love if you went over there and considered donating. That'd be really lovely of you. Do you guys have anything to plug? Any selling out you want to do before we sign off this week?
No.
Not for me. I unfortunately won't be at PAX this year, as I will be traveling. I'll be going to Austin Film Festival and then on to LA. So I hope you guys have an amazing time there without me.
We will. We're going to do some live PAX coverage.
And congrats on running the D&D group again in the Diversity Lounge again, Dan. I saw that you were doing that again.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to toot my own horn, but I will. Thanks for setting me up. I will be running, teaching Dungeons & Dragons in the Diversity Lounge at PAX on the Friday and the Saturday afternoon. They said I was really good at it last year, so they asked me back. So that was really lovely.
Good back. It's an excellent little part of PAX. It's one of my favorite rooms to kind of go and chill out in, because I think it's a really lovely, safe and welcoming space.
And we need more of that. I mean, all of PAX is certainly that, but that's even more so.
It's one of those things where they really listen to what people kind of said that they might like more of, and really responded. So yeah, good work, PAX.
Mm-hmm. So if you're there, if you're at PAX in the afternoon, Friday, Saturday, between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., I'll be in the Diversity Lounge. Come say hi. But there's also a couple of really good panels during those times. So I wouldn't be too upset if you went to those, because I'm a bit shattered that I'm missing out on those as well. And make sure you like us on Twitter. Do people like stuff on Twitter, Facebook?
They do. Things? My most liked tweets are about The Bachelorette. So.
Charles's most liked tweets are non-existent, as I don't believe he tweets. If you want to tweet abuse at Charles, the best place to do it is on Twitter, because he won't read it.
I'll never see it. You can just rag off on me and I'll never know it.
And you should look up the Game Club podcast on Facebook groups. We've got a group there you can join, and we've got sort of photos of the games we've been playing. We post videos and things like that there too.
Abuse at each other mostly.
Yeah, so we'd love you to take part in that conversation. Sans abuse, like no abuse though. And that'd be great. Thanks for coming back, Catherine, from your your meditation up in Mount Kilimanjaro.
My Yakuza revenge trip.
That's right. The most important thing I want to know is, what are we playing next week on Game Club?
Ooh, that is the question. I think we're going to look at a SNES game to celebrate my SNES mini classic hunt, and I think we'll play. Let's go Yoshi.
I was about to say, let's do Yoshi. Let's not punch him in the head.
Yeah.
So do you mean Super Mario World that Emma is currently playing, where you can ride Yoshi, or the one with Yoshi and Baby Mario?
No, I think it's just the Yoshi. Is it? Well, hang on.
I mean, I really want to play Yoshi's Island. I believe that's the one.
I'm pretty sure Yoshi's Island is on SNES Mini Classic, isn't it?
You're the one.
I cannot tell you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if that's the one you want to play, Yoshi's Island is technically Super Mario World 2. So, yeah.
I want to play that. Let's do that.
Yeah, we'll play that.
Cute. All right, done.
Cool. And that's it from us. We're going to be back in 2 weeks' time, maybe, depending on Catherine's revenge boner. And we're going to talk about Yoshi's Island, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We'll definitely be back for PAX, so we're going to be talking then, and we'd love to hear from you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.